So here's another old hello machine, as we like to call them. This is a wall phone, probably from the same era as the last one. This is actually the one that I use in my workshop. This has been in my garage here for, at least 20 years, maybe longer. This phone was in my parents' house at one time, hung up on the wall. And of course it says property of BC Tel because, well, that's when these phones were new. This was from 1982 was when this phone was made. It's got a date on it. And that would have been when my parents probably had it installed. My uncle worked for the phone company at the time and he probably brought it down. But anyway, this was in their house and it got taken off the wall and I've had it in my garage ever since. At one time this was mounted to a wall plate and I just put a phone cord on it. And this phone works, but the problem is the bell doesn't work. So we're gonna open this one up and see why the bell doesn't work on this one. It's going to be very similar to the other one inside. I just don't know how to get this one open at the moment. I think it just pries open. I think they just pop it open from the bottom here, either through here or through the bottom there. There we go. Just pries open like that. Oh, here's the bell in this one. And it's just a single bell, and the bell is not even attached. So it's been in not very good shape. Maybe that's why it's not working. It's got a bunch of wires taped on it. And where are they going? This is my work, that jelly bean there. Put the phone cord on, I guess. The wire that's taped, that's just the phone cord coming into it. It's been attached this way. Where is it coming in the back here? That's just where the phone cord is attached. At one point this was attached, it was mounted right to the wall, and it was hardwired into the wall. So I just put a phone cord on it, and hooked it up this way. But the bell is, well, it's leaving something to be desired. Okay, those wires are just taped off. The black and the blue wires are just taped off. The red and the green, one should go through the capacitor here. The green wire typically goes through the capacitor, which is connected to the other green wire coming in, and then the red wire is connected right to the ring coming in. So this bell should work as it sits, but it's not. I'll plug it in, and maybe it was just jammed because it was just kind of sitting there. Right? This bell should work. So let's plug it in and try phoning and see if it works. Okay, let me dial my number. Hang that up. So it is trying. It is trying to ring. It's just not ringing that well. Try that again without the cord affecting it. That's a little better. So I wonder why it's not working. It must be just something jamming it here where it was mounted in the cabinet, and it really wasn't mounted. It was just kind of sitting there. So let's see if we can figure out how this thing's supposed to attach in this cabinet. Now this screw that was in here, it doesn't screw into anything. I'm thinking maybe it goes on this side. Like there's nothing for it to screw into on the actual phone itself. The bell obviously sits in here like this somehow, but I don't see anything for the screws to actually screw into for this bell. Almost like it's not the right bell for the unit, but it's the only one that's going to fit. On the other hand, maybe it goes in this way. There's this cutout here, almost like it's for the bell to fit in like that. I think it fits in this way, and it was in the backwards. Now the striker can strike the bell. We'll position the wires out of the way so that they don't mute it. Incoming wires, I'm going to zap this in place when I put this back together, but we'll bring the incoming wires in. I'm going to redo these connections, and this one I'll do them with these 3M style Scotch locks. Okay, first we'll splice the wire back in properly using a proper 3M Scotch lock, or jelly beans as they're called in the industry. This is an insulation displacing connector, or IDC for short, and basically you just put the wires through all the way down to the end, and then you use a special tool to apply them. They're ratcheting, and they close them to the proper torque. And the most important thing is, you notice the jaw moves completely vertical. That's what makes these different than, say, using a pair of pliers, which using a pair of pliers, some people will put them on with pliers, but the thing with pliers is you don't get a good even pressure between the two of them. So yeah, they generally don't work as well. Now we've got a blue and a black wire here. I'm assuming that that may be for a different ring or a different ring frequency possibly, but the blue and black wires aren't being used, so we'll just kind of cut them off and stick them out of the way. I'm going to redo the red and the black bell wires with a proper IDC, of course. The bell hasn't worked on this one for a long time. I don't think the bell's ever worked since I installed it. As I say, it was an old phone that had been in my parents' house. I'm pretty sure my uncle, who worked for BC Tel at the time, probably gave it to my parents, or he may have even put it in. But it was in the kitchen for the longest time, right from the time that touch tone first came out, or DTMF dialing as it's also known, but right from the time that the rotary dial was replaced with the touch tone phone. This was the first touch tone phone that they got. They used to have an old rotary phone on the wall, like a wall mounted phone, and I have that phone. I still have that phone here kicking around somewhere, and because I got a lot of old phones, I got in various different colors. I think it was red. It was like a almost this color of red. But anyway, that's where this one came from, and I say I've had it in here since I built the house. So this one's been in here since about 2000 and I guess 2003 when I finished up the house. Just tuck these wires down. There's a place here that I can secure. Looks like there was a spot here for a connector, like a conventional RJ11, I guess the word phone. There was a place here for a connector where a phone cord could be plugged in, so that this phone could have been as a desk phone, or it was configured either as a desk phone or a wall phone, and there would have been two different style of covers that went on it. One that had the cradle that went down this way, so that you could use it as a desk phone, and then the wall phone was this housing. So this was set up so that it could be used as a desk phone. As you can see, it's got the feet on the bottom, but it's also got the hangers on it. And anyway, I'm going to get a zap tie, and we're going to tie this down through the hole here just so that the cable is supported. And then I'm going to put this one back together and we'll make sure it works, and I'll put it back up in my garage and it'll be my workshop phone again. And this time it'll ring, because that's always been the problem. I've been out working out here in the shop and the phone will ring, but I don't hear the phone ringing because the bell's in the other room, and if I've got anything running in here, well, I won't necessarily hear it. You know, there's a note here that says, for rotary dial use, add a 0.33 microfarad 400 volt DC cap in here. So if you're using it with a rotary dial, you add an extra capacitor. I guess that's to dampen out the pulses from the rotary dial contacts opening and closing so they don't spark. So that, tuck these wires out of the way. And then get the top cover on, and then I can test it. There. That ought to work. See, the problem with these phones that have the hardwired cord like this is that they always got tangled up. I've never seen someone's phone that the phone cord is not tangled. I'm going to plug it in now and we'll make a test call and make sure this one rings, and I can mount it on the wall again. It rings. Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, loud and clear. So that one's fixed. And the wiring's cleaned up just a bit from what it was. Back in service. This phone is 40 years old because, well, it's 2022 now, and this one was made in 1982. So 40-year-old phone, still fully functional. They say they don't make them like they used to. Thanks for watching.